The science is clear. We must do more and faster. So that's the pledge and the call I bring to this historic meeting.
Justin Trudeau, climate hypocrite. Is anyone really shocked? Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist with Toronto Sun, joined by my colleagues, Lorne, Gunter, and Lorrie Goldstein. Gents, Justin Trudeau flying out to Victoria. Then he flies to Edmonton. He flies to Laval. At each stop, he's telling us that we've got to, as Canadians, reduce our emissions. And then he flies all the way back west to Whistler, BC, so we can go skiing. Some people are saying I'm making too much of this, that, well, the PM has to fly. Doesn't this just show, though, that he doesn't believe the message that he's selling Canadians?
Yeah, for sure it does. And it's not the fact that the PM doesn't have to fly. The PM does have to fly. What he has to do is shut up about telling all the rest of us that we need to reduce our carbon footprint, because he's not reducing his.
Or Lorne, here's an idea. You reverse the order of the tour and you go Laval, Edmonton, Victoria, and then you're like, oh, I'm out west anyway. Let's go to Whistler.
Even so, I mean, I remember this is like one time James Cameron, the film director, was mouthing off about people's carbon footprint. And of course, he had a mansion that was using the equivalent of about 100 different houses in carbon every year. So, you know, these are all, you know, do as I say, not as I do types. And Trudeau is the very best. You remember in the 2019 campaign, when they were still doing cross-country jet tours, Trudeau and the Liberals had two plates. One for his wardrobe, you know, in case he needed some Bollywood dance routine came up and he had to get all dressed up, and one for the media who followed him around, drooling and slavishly reporting whatever the man said. And so, you know, and they said, "Oh no, well we bought carbon credits to offset the footprint of the yeah." So they paid to have some bushes planted in Africa, as though that's somehow going to mitigate all of the emissions they have. It's a phony issue, and they are very phony with it.
Let me get to Lorrie then. Lorrie, you know, the average Canadian, according to Our World in Data, has a carbon footprint of about 14 tons. Using an online calculator, carbonfootprint.com, I was able to look and figured out that Trudeau's flying just for this week so far is more than 8 tons. And that's using a rough calculator. It's probably higher. How badly does that reek of hypocrisy and show that he doesn't believe his message? Or maybe you disagree and you think I'm barking up the wrong tree.
I only disagree with you in the sense that I agreed with you previously. I thought this was hypocrisy. But having written about climate change for more than a decade, I think it's arrogance. I think people like the Prime Minister and the people who go to the UN conferences in all their private jets, and the celebrities who denounce the oil sands, while, you know, their own carbon footprints could choke a horse. It's not that they're hypocrites, it's that they're arrogant. They think they are wise elites who have to tell the great unwashed us how to live, which is basically to lower our standard of living, and to make choices they want us to make on everything from how we get to work to where we live.
Carbon and carbon emissions and carbon is part of everything we do, whether it's heating our homes or getting back and forth from work. We are facing a challenge where we have to change behaviors.
But they don't think any of that applies to themselves. And I don't think it's because they're hypocrites. I think it's because they think that they are wise elites who need to instruct the rest of us who are destructive and you know, planet killers in proper behavior. And to me, that's the most disturbing and dangerous thing about their attitude.
The other part of, come on, really? Okay, this is it. Will you please respect the people in this room? Will you please respect the people in this room? Will you please respect the people in this room? No, then please leave. If you're not going to respect the people in this room, you need to leave. That's the rule. Sorry. Go ahead.
because we can see what's happening. When you look at polarization in politics, why does it happen? It happened because people repeatedly see politicians asking us to do things they won't do for themselves. And to me, that eventually breaks the social contract between government and people. Eventually, people go, screw you. You're asking us to do things you will not do, right down to, like, Prime Minister's entitled to a vacation. Nobody, and I don't begrudge him going on a plane.
But hold on, a bunch of
when he makes this thing of going back and forth, it just blows up his argument.
Okay, so I'll hear from you first, Lorrie, and then to Lorne. A bunch of the true and non-liberals, Jake Tapper accurately billed them as true and non-liberals. Their leader can do no wrong. They look at this and they say, well, you're criticizing him flying, so he shouldn't fly ever. Or they say, well, should he never take a vacation? They don't want to see the point. They don't want to see the arrogance, the hypocrisy, whatever you want to label it. They're just happy that their guy's in power because they do see him as the all-knowing but benevolent man who will lead us into the promised land. People in all sides do it. They put on their tribal jersey, red, blue, orange, whatever, and they don't think their guy can make a mistake. That's not the way the world works.
What you've just described is a cult. And that's what this is. It's the liberal, it's the Trudeau cult. And I think the only way he gets out of this is next time he goes to Tofino on Reconciliation Day for surfing, he needs to ride his bike from Ottawa.
Are you waiting on that, Lorrie? Do you think that's going to happen?
I don't have anything better than that. I just don't. So fewer words are better.
And since none of us have a better line than what Lorne just had, let's wrap it up there. Let us know what you think. Drop a comment down below. Share this on social media, of course, and make sure that you subscribe to our channel.